Hello, my name's Cody and I'm with LaunchDarkly. In previous videos, we've talked about the idea of where LaunchDarkly lives in the Kubernetes workflow, but we hadn't shown it yet. In this video, we're going to explore running an application that uses LaunchDarkly inside of an Azure Kubernetes service cluster. We're going to talk a little bit about deploying out new versions of that app and show how the difference between infrastructure and software changes plays out in a Kubernetes world. Let's jump in and take a look. Here we are in the Microsoft Azure portal. If I go into Kubernetes services, we can see I have a cluster up. Azure has a ton of options for running different size clusters. I'm running a development cluster, so it's a one node cluster, meaning it's a single node running all the pods. I'm going to jump into the command line real quick, and we'll go ahead and issue a command to check out our cluster. So we'll do kube control, get pods all, and we can see all of the pods that are running in this environment. No application is currently running. If we take a look at my deploy.yaml file for my application, we can see Kubernetes deployment YAML. I'm not going to go through this in great detail, but there are several deployments that are going to be running to make this application go off. So we're going to go ahead and do a kube control, apply F for deploy YAML, and we'll see those different components be created. We're creating a namespace, which is just a way to separate out resources in a Kubernetes cluster. It's a separation mechanism. And then we're going to create a deployment and service for front end, a load balancer for the front end so we can access it, a deployment and a service for API, and a deployment and a service for our database. So the service gives us communication between different components, and the deployment is how we manage those pods and we keep it up and running. Let's go ahead and bring up our application now. I'm going to do a kube control, get pods all. You saw a quick alias there to make it short. We'll now do a kube control, get services all, and we can see the IP address. So grab that. We'll switch back to our browser window and launch our application. So our application comes up. Let's go ahead and look at how we would make a change and roll this out. LaunchDarkly lets us gradually roll out changes into this environment so we can control the features that are released. So we'll develop a feature, release it, and show that flow now as well. We'll hop into our Visual Studio, and we can see I've already started to scaffold out a new feature. We'll go ahead and uncomment this, as well as this section. And what we're doing here is we're bringing in a feature flag called new text, and we're adding in a subheader underneath that Kubernetes logo that talks about running in Azure Kubernetes service. If the feature flag is true, it'll render that. So we'll go ahead and save this code, and we're going to go ahead and build this image. This build is going to take a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward time and skip over that part. And once it's done building, I'll be right back. Our Docker build is done, so let's jump back into the command line now. This represents the running state of our infrastructure. So these pods are up and running inside of a Kubernetes environment. We've deployed out version 1 of our application. And now when we deploy out version 2, it's going to replace that infrastructure with the new version of our application. Now in a traditional deployment environment, all of the features that we built would be available now to users in that environment when we do that deployment. So to simulate that, we'll go ahead and do a kube control, delete pod, and delete the front end. Because I've created these using a deployment, it's going to destroy that pod, and the deployment is going to say, hey, you deleted our resource. I'm going to recreate it for you. So now when I do the command for kube control get pods all, again, you can see that's already back and it's been up for 13 seconds. The load balancer wasn't changed at all. And this is some of the beauty of Kubernetes, is that it's handling all of these different infrastructure dependencies and these things that are needed to provide out this running application. So the load balancer is still there. And when I switch back into the application and reload, everything looks the same. I've implemented that feature flag, which is hiding that new feature. So if this is something more complex like a logon screen or a database connection, this could be hidden from users and released only to the people that you want to be able to consume it. So in this case, I'm going to come in and I'm going to turn on that new text feature. And we can see that application is now displaying the thing that we added in, the new feature that we released. Azure Kubernetes Service handles all of the infrastructure components of this, the network connectivity, the load balancer, accessibility, the keeping the running state of the environment running. But LaunchDarkly lets us control who's receiving our changes and how fast those are rolled out. I could easily come into LaunchDarkly and set this to be behind some form of of rules that would block out users accessing it. I could say only mobile devices can access this change, or only specific users in specific regions. And this lets me control the blast radius and gradually roll out software changes while Kubernetes manages my infrastructure. I hope this video helped you understand a bit more about how things like Azure Kubernetes Service work with LaunchDarkly. Happy to answer any questions you might have. Have a great day.